know, my channel's off to a great start, and it's really evidenced by the wonderful fan mail that I get from the leftists of YouTube. And here's one that I thought was fucking great. He says, "Oh boy, another autistic right-winger trying to look so smart. So much wrong with this video. I guess this guy has a problem with autistic people. That's kind of fucked up. You cry communism frequently in this video. No one is calling for communism. Sure, they're fucking not. Sure, they aren't. Social democracy. Yeah, that's another fucking dog whistle for communism, socialism. Can't believe you right-wingers are still using this stock argument in 2020. Free exchange of labor is a fallacy, and this video does a great job of pointing it out. Sure, no one forces people to work, but you're fooling yourself if you think there's no coercion in this transaction. When the only alternative is to starve and die, there is no choice. What is the other choice? Slavery? Because slaveholders didn't have to work to eat, because they had other people providing for them and doing the work for them to provide for them. Welfare recipients in the United States today do not have to work to eat, and as a matter of fact, our poor in this country have an obesity problem. We're in the only country in the world where our poor are obese, and that's saying a lot. All right? And then he says, oh, well, then just go to college or trade school to get a better job. If they're working a job that pays shit wages, how can they afford to go to school or college? And considering they would have to work full time just to barely have enough money to get by, where can they find time to go to those classes? See the problem here? They don't have the money to go, and they also wouldn't have the time. I went to school for 3 weeks to become a truck driver, and I make $60,000 to $70,000 a year. And I got to be completely honest with you. A trained monkey could be a truck driver. Anyone could do it. Anyone can do it. And the demand has always been there because people don't want to work, you know? So, and look, I'll tell you this, guys. If you want to build credit, you can do it with $2 a month. Buy a $100 prepaid credit card, spend $2 a month on it, and pay it off before the due date every month, and your credit score will hit 700 within like a year. I did this myself in order to get my credit score up to buy a house. And then you can use that credit to take out loans to go to college or whatever you want to do. Maybe take out a loan to float your home while you go to school. And trade school does not take, years and loads of money. And a lot of times you can get that financed as well. So, there are solutions. And while leftists will always tell you that you can't do this and you can't do that and the poor can't do this, I'm here to tell you that you can do these things. And I'm going to encourage you to do these things, to be successful, to not listen to these people. They're just trying to keep you down. And then he says, so you just write off 40% of Americans as being unable to scrape money together as them being lazy and irresponsible. What a heartless and unnuanced way of looking at things. Got any facts or data to back that up? I notice you haven't any sources, so you're probably just talking out of your ass. Typical right-wing logic. You're doing just fine, so it ain't your problem, right? Well, look, I don't really chalk up 40% of Americans being unable to scrape together $400 as them really being lazy and irresponsible. I also think it's that they don't know how to manage their money. And maybe if we taught people how to manage money better and how credit works and how all this stuff kind of works in school, instead of teaching them, shit like America's the worst fucking place in the world and we need socialism to save us, that we wouldn't have these 40% of Americans that don't know how to save money. And anyway, he says, I love how you keep saying that monopolies are illegal throughout this video. Yet, at one point, you openly acknowledge that the government is actually letting these big businesses get away with a lot. Actually, no, it's not that they're letting them. It's that the government laws actually protect them. He says, that's exactly the problem. These big businesses do get away with illegal activity, and monopolies are one of them. Hell, literally, in one of the comments you say the media is owned by a few companies, so even you succeed, monopolies exist. So this is where this guy's fucking problem is. What's this word here? A few companies. And what's this word here mean? Mono. That means one. A monopoly is when one company controls the market on a certain thing. So a few companies isn't a monopoly. And if you understand how the English language works, or language at all, you would understand that. Also note that, yes, I'm sure GI would be willing to criticize that point, considering that the media is pro-capitalist. Contrary to this right-wing narrative, the media is not controlled by the far left. We wish it was, but it wasn't. Here's a nice key. The guy who's crying about monopolies says he wishes that the media was controlled by people with his ideology. So it's not that he doesn't like monopolies. I don't like monopolies, but It's that he doesn't like monopolies that aren't far left. No one is whining that they're not as rich as the top 1%. Bullshit. Straw manning at its finest. People are just upset that the rich keep getting richer at the expense of everyday people. Wages have been stagnant since the 1980s. That's bullshit. And I can do the math and prove that. And maybe I will show in another video how minimum wage is like 40% higher than what it was when I started working in around 2000 or so. And no, I mean it's higher after adjusting for inflation, not just higher overall. Despite record profits for these companies, profits keep going up, yet the actual workers don't receive any benefits from that. No one is whining that they're coming in second place to some rich person. They just want to have enough money to live. No one is starving to death in this country. Like I said, our poor have an obesity problem. That's just the way it is. No one's fucking starving. No one is like, oh, I just wish I had enough money to live. Look, you can live off of almost fucking nothing. The problem is that these people want more than they can afford. And you know, honestly, that is what scarcity is. People's wants outweigh the things that exist. Now, as far as this thing, this is the whole wage gap thing, you know, the wealth inequality, and they're constantly harping about wealth inequality. So, but it's just like this. If the rich get 20% richer and the poor get 10% richer, then the wealth gap has increased, and they would bitch about that, right? But if the rich got 20% poorer and the poor got 10% poorer, well, then the wealth gap has shrunk. And that's what these guys like. They want the gap to be different. And they're always bitching about that. And it's all about these different brackets, but these brackets aren't people. And people move all the time in between these brackets. So it's just shit fucking leftist. Same argument that leftists have been making since 1860s. So you just write off people getting pushed around at work and being treated fairly as a bunch of beta cucks, am I right? Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if you get pushed around, you let people push you around, then you're kind of a fucking pussy. And I encourage you to stand up for yourself. And know when to hold them and know when to fold them. When you've got something that your company really needs, it's time to make some negotiations, you know? And let's see. What a simplistic and juvenile view of the world. I worked my ass off for UPS for 5 years. 5 years, man. Fuck, you should retire. As a supervisor, and was actually one of the better employees. Frequently received praise from direct supervisor, yet higher management still never respected me. Why? Not sure, but it wasn't because I was some beta cuck that offered no real benefit to the company. I don't know about that, man. Some people in management are just ungrateful and love taking advantage of people they know have no other choice but to work. Now, that's true. Some people in management do like to take advantage of people. That's why you need to stand up for yourself. Don't be afraid to fuck off down the road and go work somewhere else. Before COVID hit, there was way more jobs available than there were people to work them. So you could easily just roll on. You know, and personally, I refuse to work for corporations. I don't work for corporations. I only work for small family-owned businesses, and anyone else can make that same choice for themselves. Also, unironically, calling someone beta is a real pathetic argument. What makes you so alpha, big guy? Well, you know, I am a big guy, right? I'm 6'5", 240 pounds. I bench the fucking same, you know? I could probably pull this guy's arms off like a Wookiee if I wanted to. But what makes me so alpha? Well, I stand up for myself. I don't take shit from people. I'm not anybody's doormat, period. And I encourage all of my viewers to stand up for yourselves. You don't have to be violent about it. You don't have to be hateful about it. You just have to draw the line and say, you know what? No, I'm not doing that. You know? No, I'm not. Yes, almost all glasses brands are owned by the same company. Adam dumbass everything. This guy here, Adam Ruins Everything, is stupid. I'm not even... Everything that he's ever done has been debunked. Everything. But the fact that almost all eyeglasses are owned by the same company, glasses brands are owned by the same company, that doesn't make it a monopoly, because what's this word right here? Almost. What did we talk about monopolies earlier? That's one, you know, one company owning the shit. And so, like I said, some of these companies may need actually looked into for monopolies and stuff, but to be completely honest with you, the leftists aren't the ones doing it, and Democrats are not looking at like Amazon as a monopoly or these media companies or anything like that. Only the people on the right are actually doing that. So, can you actually cite a source for your rebuttal to the bathroom story at the poultry plants? GI does, which they cited Oxfam. Where's yours? Well, I cited mine. It's Snopes, which is a left-wing source. And you go there and you can read all about it on there, and you can obviously tell it's fucking obvious that it's a completely unsubstantiated claim. Basically, Oxford said that someone told them that, or that several people told them that, but they never cited their source. They never even could tell you which plant it was happening in. So they're the ones that make this accusation, and yet I'm supposed to prove it didn't happen. Now the trick is with that is that you can't really prove that things didn't happen. All you can do is prove that they did. And these guys have not proven that they did happen, and I looked around for a while and I could find no evidence anywhere that this actually happened. So that's my stance, is I believe that it most likely did not. If that shit like that was happening and it could be proved, they would prove it. And they should, because if that shit was happening, it's fucked up. So anyway, he says, because unless you actually show evidence, it comes off like you're pulling this argument out of your ass. Yeah, Oxford's pulling the argument out of their ass. They've presented no evidence. There's no evidence for the argument. For their argument. I'm saying there's no evidence for it. Now I have to prove there's no evidence for it? How can you prove the non-existence of evidence? Dumb fuck. So you don't think democracy is freedom? No, I don't think they're synonymous. Pretty sure if a majority of people vote something that by and large represents the will of the people. Yeah, so a majority of people voting to tyrannize a minority is not liberty. A majority of people voted for Hitler, and I'm betting the Jews weren't feeling the freedom. You know, 6 guys voting to steal the wealth of the 4 other guys is not freedom. Democracy is not synonymous with freedom at all. Also, you completely dodge the argument GI is making. People are treated badly at work and oftentimes not as actual people. Yeah, that's true, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I've never had that happen, but then again, if someone would try to treat me like not an actual person, then I wouldn't work for them. Or I would just, tell them to eat a bowl of shit. That's it. And that's their argument. So, way to straw man, he says. You're also virtue slinging for right-wingers by talking about why democracy is bad, which is another bad tactic. Pure democracy is bad. Democracy, for certain things, isn't bad. Pure democracy is fucking bad. And democratic control of the economy is fucking bad. So, and I don't signaling to right. Shut the fuck up. So, just go buy insulin somewhere else. Did you not listen to the video? That's not possible when one company controls the entire market for insulin. They don't control the entire market for insulin. And if we had a more free market, you could just buy your insulin from another country. But there are limits on that, and those are anti-free market limits. I am for complete free markets. The leftists are for complete controlled markets. We are completely polar opposites. These people are my enemy. So he said, just another simplistic video, no sources either, which makes it even more pathetic. I was just speaking and using logic. I don't have to fucking cite logic. Do yourself a favor and stay out of politics. Do yourself a favor and don't tell me what to fucking do, because I am a free man. You're not treading on me. You're not telling me what I'm allowed to talk about. Just go back to your mommy's basement and get back to watching your cartoons and eating cereal. Okay, little boy. Cool. So I love this. I want to see more of this. I want to see more leftists coming to my channel and making shit arguments like this, because I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn it into a fucking segment just like this. It's going to be called like DWB reads his fan mail, And I will sit here and dispute all their fucking bullshit all day long. And listen to this guy. If you don't like the material that I'm putting out, a lot of other people do. You don't have to watch this shit. Maybe you could go to your channel and make your own content. That would be awesome. But anyway, this is DWB. Thanks for watching. And remember, don't be a fucking commie like this dude.